And right now,
Yes. I just hit the record button. I would like to record this session so that we can have something for you to make reference back to in case network disappoints again. Can you confirm if you can hear me? So if you have any issues with the network, send me a text message just so that I know if you are following or not.
okay, sir. I can hear you now and I can see your screen. Thank
Awesome.
God.
Okay.
I wasn't hearing you before. Thank you,
Oh,
sir.
that's okay. So this is what you sent to me,
Yes, sir.
talking about major and minor triads, the difference between them. And this is a wonderful definition that says the difference between a major and a minor triad is just flattening the third degree of a triad in its root position. So there are so many variables coming together that one needs to understand what each of these variables actually mean. That's the only way you can fully understand what this definition is saying. For example, one of them is major, another one is minor. You have to understand all of these. Another one is degree or degrees. Another one is triad. Another one is root position. So you must understand what all of these 5 terminologies mean. What do they mean in music for you to understand this definition? So the moment we finish dealing with these 5 items, it will be very easy for you to grasp this definition. So
Okay.
now, when we talk about major in music, we are simply referring to a chord or any chord that consists of 3 notes in a specific order. There is a specific order to those 3 notes. First of all, let me draw a simple wait, instead of drawing, what if I import? Let me draw a rough diagram of a piano here.
Okay.
So, C sharp, so if we have something like this, two, and 3. Okay, we can paint the inside of these ones to be black. depicting the black keys of the keyboard. So,
By the way, sir,
yes.
I I have a small keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
but
wonderful.
I don't know. It's very weird. It cannot sustain. It cannot play a chord. Like
Ah,
it cannot play three notes at the same
at the
time,
same
and
time.
it's really frustrating.
Yeah, it's really small. We need to upgrade that
Yes,
keyboard very soon. You can only play melodies, single notes on.
yeah, just single notes and two notes. And me, I even bought it so that I would like continue my keyboard practice that I started some time ago. But it's
Yeah,
still useful for finger
yes,
placement, learning, and others.
that's right. So I would
Yes,
say
sir.
that keep using it the way you are using it until when
Mm,
you are ready to upgrade it,
yes, sir.
which hopefully should be soon enough before the year runs out. Okay,
Yes.
so
Mm,
now you remember, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the concept of scales in music.
okay.
When we talk about scales in music, it simply takes after the likeness of a ladder. Okay, so if something
Mm,
looks like a ladder, for example, you have a ladder and somebody needs to climb. So this is first level, and this is level 2, level 3, level 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Are you still with me?
yes, sir. I
Okay,
just it logged me out of the call again, but I'm back now. Yes, sir.
that's all right.
So sorry for the network issues. I don't know.
That's okay. You don't have
It
to
is well.
apologize. I understand. Third,
Yes.
fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. So, and the eighth note. So, this is the musical ladder. We can call it
Mm.
musical ladder of
Yeah.
scales
Okay.
or degrees.
Mm.
It simply means the same thing. All right. Now, when you are scaling, when we use the word, for example, scaling a ladder or scaling a wall, you don't just jump to the top of the wall at once. You go step by step, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's the same thing with a ladder. You're trying to reach something high up on the roof and you already brought out a ladder. As long as the ladder is tall enough for you to get to the top of the roof, you have to climb the first step, then the second step, then the third step, till you get to where you need to be. So
Mm.
if you needed to get to the top of the roof, that means you climb to the very end of the ladder,
Mm.
right? You get to
Yes,
this
sir.
level to get to the top of the roof. But if you just wanted to reach maybe the window or the top of the door, let's say the house is as tall as this, and the door stops here. So if the door of the house stops at this point, how many scales of the ladder do you need to climb before you can reach the top of the door? Say that again.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get you.
Okay.
Please.
So this is the door of the house.
Yes, sir.
If you needed to climb to the very top of the house, that means you need to
Mm.
climb to maybe like level 8 or more for you to get to the roof.
Yes, sir.
But if you only needed to get to the top of the door, how many scales do you need to climb?
Okay, you climb through 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
4,
Yes.
and
So
yeah,
anywhere from 4, your your
4.
ha- your
Yes, sir.
hand your hand should be able to reach the top of the door to grab whatever you want to grab from there. Or maybe you are doing some painting work from here, your hand can reach anywhere here to
Yes, sir.
to do the work, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's how it is in music, that every note,
Okay.
every note in music is a degree or part or portion of a degree. First degree, second degree, third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, sixth degree, seventh degree, eighth degree. Every key,
Mm.
all the 12 keys in music, all of them have all of these degrees. And once you get to the eighth degree, what happens next? You start all over again. You go back to 1 degree,
Mm.
degree 1. So let's assume, for the purpose of clarity with what we are doing in music, that our ladder has only 8 degrees. Because after 8,
Mm.
we'll go back to 1 and start all over again.
Okay.
So now, because of the evolution that music went through over the years, at some point in time, I don't remember which of the centuries, but at some point in time in the history of humanity, there were just like 3 notes that were recognized.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah, only 3 notes. Something like uh,
Mm.
and then gradually they started adding more notes as internationally
Mm.
recognized notes in music. So right now we've gotten to an international agreement that these are the tampered scale of the notes that musical sounds represent. That's what we have on the piano.
Mm.
So anywhere you go all around the world, it's the same number of notes, the same set of degrees. So, for example, this definition is acceptable anywhere in the whole world, that the difference between a major and a minor is to flatten the third degree. But you need to know what a degree is. You need to know what a triad is. So now back to these definitions. Okay,
Mm.
a triad
Yes,
is
sir.
a combination of 3 musical notes, e.g., C, E, G. If you combine these notes, that's a triad. F, A, C,
Okay.
that's another triad. If you play G, B, D, that's another triad. So the triads continue like that. Any combination of 3 notes that is musically acceptable is a triad. So
Okay.
keep that in mind. For example, on the key of C, let me see if I can group. Awesome. So on the key of C, in all right. So I was trying to quickly type out the triads that we have on the key of C.
Hello, sir.
Yes. All right. So we're talking about triads. So I want to quickly.
Hi, sir. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh.
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, sir. I can hear you now. My network is really frustrating here.
Sorry about that. That's okay.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully it gets better. So we're talking about triads, and I
Yes,
wanted
sir.
to quickly go over the triads in the key of key C.
Okay.
Uh, so this might take a longer time. I might just have to share. I might have to share a screenshot with you, which will make it easier for us.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So now, so using this particular, let me see if I can. No, I don't want to lose the screen. Going back to our musical ladder, okay? This first position, the very, very first scale, are you following? Hello?
Sir, can you hear me? I'm
Yes.
following, sir.
Okay,
I
I can.
just turned on my data hotspot now, so the network is better.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yes. Thank you,
So
sir.
I was saying that the first position on the ladder on the musical scale is also known as the first degree.
Okay.
So if this is first degree, that means the very next one is second degree, third degree, fourth degree, fifth degree, sixth degree, seventh degree, eighth degree. Try to understand that. Just in your mind, keep it as simple as that looks or as simple as that sounds. That it's being built on the various degrees. Need to have you go back up a little bit. Okay. Now, if you have the major scale of key C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You remember the major
Mm.
scale of key C? Do you remember the major scale of key C? So I was
Hello,
trying to,
sir.
yes, I was trying to explain the major scale of key C, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
All right, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
awesome. Now, I said degree, before I come back to the major scale explanation, the major scale will help us define the root position before we go to major and minor. Now, these degrees, we have established that degrees in music are the various levels in the scale
Mm.
of music. Is that simple enough?
Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. So just like you're climbing a ladder, you have the first scale, that's the first degree, second scale, second degree, third scale, third degree. It's like that.
Mm.
So with reference to the key of C, key C is our first degree. Okay.
Yes, sir.
D is the second degree. E is the third degree. That's first, second, third.
Mm.
F is the fourth degree.
Yes, sir.
G is the fifth degree.
This is the fifth degree.
A is the sixth. B is the seventh. And then the next C, which is an octave, is the eighth degree. And we already said a triad is a combination of three musical notes. For example,
Yeah.
C, E, G.
Mm.
Now, what combination of three musical notes will give us a major triad? Now we need to differentiate between major and minor. Okay? Basically, when somebody hears the sound of a chord, you can decide if you can decipher if this is a major chord or a minor chord. How do you know if it's a major chord or a minor chord? By just hearing it alone. A major chord sounds like a happy chord. Okay,
Mm.
it's a very happy
Yes.
chord because um,
Mm.
it is built with major third intervals. Don't worry, I'm going to break that down also. Major third
Okay, sir.
intervals, while a minor chord, let me put, while a minor chord sounds like a sad chord.
Mm. Sounds
Even,
like what I read online. I was now confused. I said,
oh, so that's the way it sounds. Like
okay.
if you are trying to picture it with the eyes
Mm.
of your mind.
Okay. I'm getting it. Mm.
And this is a major factor that determines the way that worship songs go.
Mm.
the way we sing worship songs. For example, if I'm singing, um, Jehovah, you are the most high. Jehovah, you are the most high God. And then people can dance to it. Jehovah, you are the most high. Jehovah,
Yes.
you are the most high God. You see how it sounded like a joyful sound?
Yes.
But the moment I start a song like Adonai, sing Adonai,
Mm.
Adonai. How does that sound? More
Sad.
emotional or kind of sad?
More emotional.
Yes, more
Yeah.
emotionally involving, because now you shift your focus from the happy mode of you just feel like dancing to a more solemn atmosphere, okay?
Yes,
To a
sir.
more solemn atmosphere of, okay,
Yes, sir.
you reference, worship, and adoration rather
Mm.
than making a joyful sound, praise the Lord anyhow, jump up, shout, dance,
Mm.
which you get from the major chord. So the first song, Jehovah, you are the Most High, is played with the major chord, with a major chord. But the second song, I
Okay.
use the Adonai song. That song is built on a minor chord.
Mm.
So it will sound as if it's a sad kind of song or sad tune. But that's not what we are trying to, in the gospel context, not like sad, which means something negative, but sad in terms of the color or the texture of the
Music.
chord that is being produced. Yeah, the musical sound. How do you describe musical sound?
Mm.
So that's what differentiates major and minor. Now, coming to the technical aspect of it, that's where this definition comes in handy. This is a very, very technical definition that we're trying to break down. Okay? Now, a
Mm.
minor chord
Yes.
has um, an interval of a minor third between the root and third. Now, whenever you see all of these third or second, fourth or fifth inside of a theoretical definition, it's referring to the same thing we have on the ladder to our right hand side. First, second, third. So this is the third we are talking about.
Okay.
Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. It's the same thing that we're talking about.
Mm.
Now, if you look at this scale, we have agreed that key C is our first, key D is
Yes.
our second, key E is our third,
Is a word. Mm.
and then F is our fourth, G is our fifth.
Mm.
Okay? Now,
Yes, sir.
if you take a close look at the piano, um, do you fully understand tonic solfa? Like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay. How about the chromatic version of tonic solfa?
Chromatic, like the full one, including the minors.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just try to
To an
follow.
extent.
All right. Just try to follow along because that knowledge will be very, very useful in what I'm trying to explain here.
Okay.
So
Mm.
this is do, right? The first note on the keyboard.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how about the first black note? What will that be?
That's B.
Good. How about the next white note? What will that give us?
Re.
Good. How about the next one? The next black note?
Do the re. More.
Awesome. And then the next one?
Me.
Perfect. Now, remember that we described sharp as
Mm.
you simply moving one note higher to any given note, just an additional. So, for example, if you say, what is C sharp? C sharp is simply the next note immediately to the,
After.
yes, after the key C.
Yes.
And C sharp is in between C and D, right?
D.
So, if I say, show me D flat, what key are you going to play on the keyboard? D flat. This is D.
With it, it okay. D flat should be. Isn't that also C sharp?
You are 100% correct. That's all I needed to hear from you. So D flat is also C sharp.
Yes, sir.
It is flattened when you
C
move to your
sharp.
left. You see, when your
Mm.
movement is from the D to the left hand side, it's a flat. But if you are moving from C, moving to your right hand side, then that same note gives you a C sharp.
Yes, sir.
All right. So keeping that in mind, this now helps us to flatten. You see where the word flattening comes in the definition.
Yes. Okay.
So we needed to flatten
Mm-hmm.
the third degree. Now
The
let's look
third
for our third degree. What's
degree.
our third degree in this scale?
That's
One,
E.
two, three. Awesome. E is
E.
our third
That's
degree.
yes, sir.
So if you are to flatten, we've also established that when you are flattening a note, you are moving which direction?
To the left.
To the left. So
Yes.
which note is going to give us a flattened E on the piano? This very note. This is our flattened third degree.
Yes.
Remember that this is our key C, D, E.
E. E.
And now we say we are flattening the E.
Flatten the E. Okay.
So if we flatten the E, it becomes what?
That's
It becomes E
D
flat or
flat. Okay, E flat.
D sharp.
Yes, sir. E flat or D sharp. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So this is our flattened third degree.
Okay.
That's how we get the third degree and flattening. Now, moving to the next portion of a triad. Remember we said a
Mm.
triad. What is a triad? A combination
Three
of three.
combination of three notes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Um, a more proper definition could say a chord A triad is a chord that consists of 3 musical notes. So that might be a better
Okay.
definition. So if the chord is made up of 3 notes, then it's a triad.
Okay.
So now,
So are there chords that are more than 3 notes?
oh yes, so many of them.
Wow.
All 7th chord, major 7th chord. For example, right here, instead of just C, E, G, if I add B to it, C, E, G, B, it becomes major 7th. Because this is your major, C, E, G is your major chord, and then you now add 7 to
Yes.
it. What is the 7? See how we numbered them. C is number 1, D is 2, 3
Yeah.
is 4,
2.
and then B is 7. So, which makes this becomes major 7th chord. So,
Wow.
you see it, instead of writing the whole thing like this, it will be written as C 7th, something like this, or C M, capital M,
Okay.
C M 7th, C
Major
major 7th. But if it is a small
Okay.
m, if it is a small m, you see it written as C small m and 7.
Wow.
Yep. So that's how we begin to build the chords and make it more complex. It becomes a complex chord. So minor triad, but hope you understand the concept of the 7th.
Yes, sir.
All
I
right.
do.
I will delete them from the screen so that I'll just focus on our major and minor.
Okay.
So
Yes, sir.
taking the major triad, which is a chord that consists of 3 musical notes, and in the given example from the definition, C major triad consists of key C, E, and G, which is C, E, G is 1,
1,
3,
3,
and
5,
5. Awesome.
5.
1, 3, 5. Because based on our ladder, our scale or degree of scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So C, E, G gives us 1, 3, 5. And then C minor triad, we just need to flatten the 3rd degree. What's the 3rd degree? The
Third
E.
degree.
The E in the middle. Flattening it gives it the... Remember that this is supposed to be the flattening symbol and not a B per se. But because it's hard to find that symbol...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Sometimes it's hard to find that symbol. That's why. So sometimes I just prefer to write it with the hand since the flat symbol has a pointed edge, something
Looks
like
like
this.
a B.
Yeah, it looks like a B. So this is exactly what we're referring to when we say you flatten a 3rd degree.
Wow.
Now,
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. The same way you flatten the 3rd degree, do you know you could sharpen the 5th degree?
Wow.
So the same way, when you sharpen the fifth,
So if we sharpen the fifth degree,
yes,
will will it still remain a minor chord or
no, for the major triad,
okay?
if you sharpen the fifth degree, it becomes an augmented chord. We call it.
Mm,
It now becomes an augmented triad.
okay.
Now, in the minor triad, if you sharpen the fifth degree of a minor triad, it becomes a minor augmented chord.
Chord. Okay.
So it carries the two names, C minor augmented.
Mm,
It's C minor quite okay, but because you sharpen the fifth degree, it's now augmented.
fifth degree. Mm,
But originally, it's just a C minor chord. So that's what happens with the construction or the creation of chords. When you're creating different chords, this is exactly what happens. You just take various combinations based on this degree: first degree, second degree, third degree,
mm,
fourth, down to eighth, and then we'll go back again. And the eighth, like we
so
used to say, is an octave of the first degree, right? So don't forget that. The eighth degree is an octave of the first degree. And then
mm,
the loop continues. So I hope that
yes,
this
sir.
explanation helps.
Yes, sir. It looks more simpler now. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
I'll just listen to it again when the link is dropped on YouTube.
All right.
Then I'll practice with my keyboard and
Awesome.
voice the sounds.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's a great idea. Try to voice the sounds and see
Yes.
how it sounds to you. And then the second question you asked, we might probably we'll try to handle it in the next class, but I need to have a page. If you can take a picture of that particular page, or,
Okay.
if you have it in PDF format,
Okay.
share the document with me, and then I can do a screen share and we'll work on the exercise together when we meet on Saturday.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're very much welcome.
Yeah.
So I'll see you same time on Saturday.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll be expecting this link, the
Yes.
link to this video on
Okay.
YouTube. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. You
Yes,
have a
sir.
wonderful rest of your week.